Well, good evening, South Mississippi. Happy Saturday evening. It's been a really nice day so far. We did get away with a couple of scattered showers and storms as we went through the midday hours. Some of us did see the sun for at least a little bit. And, well, as we head into the overnight hours, we are now keeping a very close eye on some of these very slow-moving thunderstorms. We've had one storm up very close to the border with this is going to be George and Stone County. That has been almost completely stationary now for about 30 minutes. So I'm going to check on the rainfall rates with that one here in a little bit. You're also going to note this is a very, very slow-moving cold front that's going to eventually work its way down into South Mississippi over the next couple of hours. You can already see also in the green boxes all over Louisiana and some parts of southwestern Mississippi. Near the Delta, we have a lot of flash flood warnings in effect. We have some very heavy rainfall rates as we go into especially the main line associated with this storm system. So let's go ahead and start look at some of our tower cams across the area, mainly looking for those low cloud covers. There is a little bit of fog out there as well in some spots. So you can see very, very low cloud cover there at the Beau Rivage and Biloxi. Clouds hanging down below the camera level there. So we could be seeing a little bit of fog in some spots at the moment. Let's head over to another part of Biloxi, IP Casino Resort Spa camera facing towards the northwest. That is where we are seeing maybe not as much fog, but still that low cloud level, as well as a few showers that did pass through earlier, but it does look like we are clear at the moment. As for our forecast going into the overnight hours, we do want to pay close attention. Just remember to use that WLOX First Alert weather app and make sure you have those notifications turned on just in case a warning is issued. It does look like the wind threat with this system is starting to go down. However, it's a flash flooding threat that is really starting to develop, especially just to our west, and that might move into South Mississippi here within the next few hours. So let's keep an eye on that as well. Make sure if you are heading to bed, make sure that those notifications are definitely turned on. That way your phone will make it sound if a warning is issued for you. That way you can get to that safe place. Now, looking at the overnight hours once again, the highest chance of rain is going to come in right around midnight. That's when most of these storms are going to settle into South Mississippi. This storm system is also going to start stalling as it enters South Mississippi. That means the entire system is going to pretty much stop moving forward, and so we could get some very heavy rainfall, very long periods of heavy rainfall as we move through the early morning hours, thanks to that very slow forward motion of some of these storms. So once again, if you haven't already, I do recommend downloading that WLOX First Alert weather app. Also, while you are at it, check out our new WLOX News app or update the current one. We have definitely changed a few things there. Back to satellite and radar, especially the Hattiesburg area, the Pine Belt's dealing with some of the strongest storms right now. Gusty winds around 30 to 40 miles per hour, so below severe limits with some of those storms, but definitely still gusty enough to bring some tree branches down, or at least to the point where you can hear the wind at times. So just keep an eye out for that as we go into the overnight hours. But the main thing we're going to be watching, especially as this line moves in, is some of these very, very slow-moving storms. Particularly here in South Mississippi, I do want to take a look at this one just to the north and the west of Loosedale along Highway 98 in George County. We are looking at this storm that hasn't moved at all. This is just to the north of Bendale. A very, very slow-moving storm. A lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rain with that. So if you take a look here at the past 24 hours on rainfall, this is the radar estimated rainfall, taking into account how long that storm has been there. You can see that we are talking about, let's see if I can get, about 2.5 inches of rain just north of Bendale. So far. So very, very slow moving storms. That's why I said earlier, if you were with us for this morning's shows or the 6 o'clock news, I did say that around an inch of rain widespread But certainly, if you can get that storm that just sits there and is barely even moving, then you can easily rack up 2 or 3 inches of rainfall. That's where that flash flooding threat would certainly come into play. We're already seeing that happen, especially over in some parts of Louisiana. And we zoom back out real quick so you can see the storm system as a whole. I want to pay attention to these storms in the Baton Rouge area, up near Amite in southwestern Mississippi in the Delta, Amite City there in Kentwood. Both of those are in Louisiana. Look how slow some of these storms are moving, and look how heavy some of that rainfall is. All of these little green boxes you're seeing, those are all flash flood warnings that are currently in effect. We also have very close to Macomb, Mississippi, Tylertown, Mississippi. We're seeing already reports of flooding in that area from these very, very slow moving storms. So overall, not much motion on these storms. There's those flash flood warnings again. And you can see, for the most part, the coastal areas here in South Mississippi have stayed pretty dry throughout the day. Over in Jackson County, we are starting to see those pop-up showers and storms build up as well. And some of these are certainly going to be capable of those gusty winds as well out ahead of the line. So we're going to watch for that over the next few hours as well. The Storm Prediction Center has lowered the risk category for a lot of Mississippi now that these storms have started showing signs of weakening. We have gotten rid of that slight risk to our north. It is just now a marginal level 1 risk, but of course all of South Mississippi still included. And this is going to be overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. This is for those storms that may still be capable of those gusty winds. The wind threat is starting to go down. We can see that many of these storms really are losing that daylight energy. It's not the really slow motion is limiting how strong they can get in the first place, but we still can't rule out at least 1 or 2 isolated gusts that could reach those severe limits around 60 miles per hour. So we want to keep an eye out for that as we go into the overnight hours. The flooding is the one that is definitely becoming a little bit more concerning with those very, very slow moving storms that are producing just a lot of rainfall. You can see if a storm sits over one area over the course of about an hour or two, we could easily see 2, 3, or more inches from just that one storm. So as we go into the overnight hours, that's what we're going to keep a close eye on for sure. Here's the most recent run of Futurecast as well. This does show that the front does very slowly finally start to enter South Mississippi here within about the next hour or two. As it does so, this system as a whole is going to begin to stall. And what that means is that almost coming to a complete stop here. You can see that cold front transitions into a stationary front, meaning it's moving very little, if at all. And once it does that, then overall the storms are going to start weakening. However, it's going to mean that they're not really moving. So as they do weaken, they're just going to continue to put down that heavy rainfall over the exact same areas. So especially going around midnight into the early morning hours of tomorrow, between about midnight to 4 a.m., there is the risk for that flash flooding, especially in low-lying areas, creek beds, any roadways with poor drainage, things like that. They are going to flood very easily under conditions like this. And remember, most of us are under drought conditions as well. That can help in allowing a flooding threat to become a little bit more than what we would normally see because of that very dry ground. The soil may not absorb all of the incoming rain as quickly because of how dry it is, and that could become its own problem there as well. So we'll keep an eye on that going into early tomorrow morning. But check this out, by about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, things have completely cleared out. This system moves on out fairly quickly. Now, we can't rule out the possibility of showers and storms returning in the afternoon. Of course, just more of what we've been seeing throughout the week, those almost summertime like pop-up showers and storms. They may return as we go into Sunday afternoon, but for the most part, things are really starting to turn more towards a flash flooding threat in terms of these storms. Looking at Futurecast for rainfall, on top of what's already fallen, Futurecast is estimating about another inch or so. So that does not include those storms that have already moved through South Mississippi. This is the overall rainfall from this main system, that main line of storms that is sitting just to our north in the Pine Belt right now. So definitely something to watch for as we go over the next couple of hours. Hancock Whitney camera over in Gulfport, low cloud cover there as well. Right now at the Gulfport Airport, it is 72 degrees, southeast winds at 14 miles per hour. So we're still seeing those breezy winds out of the southeast. It's another thing to think about. If we do get a lot of rainfall in a very short period of time, then maybe some of those weaker trees that have been under these drought conditions for quite some time now may be prone to falling. So we're going to keep an eye out for that as well. Things like localized flash flooding, momentary power outages. If we do get a tree or two to fall, we want to watch for that overnight as well. But let's turn back to radar just kind of before we close things up here. We want to make sure we do take one final check of the radar, see where some of these storms are at. Once again, this storm that's north of Bendale in George County, very, very slow moving. It's put down over 2 inches of rain already and is still moving very slowly and still producing a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rain. So that's something we want to watch for. I see we do have questions in the Facebook about Pascagoula. Let's head that way. You've been mostly dry throughout the day. We do have some of those showers and storms up. Most of these formed near Moss Point and are moving up towards the north. But that's going to reverse as we go into later today. Once that front starts to move on in, the storm direction will become more north to south. So we'll watch for that as this does come in pretty close. Also, just across the state border in Alabama, over in Mobile County, we do have some of those storms. Just the little ones are starting to produce lightning, so we do want to watch for that as well. I do want to talk about this area out here. You can see that there are these little tiny pop-up showers that are trying to develop mainly across some parts of Jackson and Harrison County. Let me put an arrow. See these little small pockets of showers and storms around here, also in Saussure. You can see there's some of those, Dido, Saussure, seeing those little tiny showers pop up. We're going to watch those as well. We're out ahead of the front. We have plenty of that moisture. We still have some of the heat from the daylight. Those could, over the next hour or so, try to build a little bit more and become those small pop-up storms. Those could also become capable of those gusty winds and heavy rainfall later on. So we want to watch them. They're moving pretty slowly as well. So just a couple things to watch for. Let's kind of go big picture once again. Let's zoom back out to the regional satellite and radar. There's that front still slowly making its way through the Pine Belt. Actually, right now, as of 9:32 p.m., the strongest of these storms is finally starting to enter South Mississippi. This is up in Pearl River County. We are finally starting to get some of that very heavy rainfall crossing the state border from Louisiana into Mississippi, into Pearl River County right now. So over about the next 3 to 4 hours is when we're going to start to see most of these heavier storms start to transition their way into South Mississippi. As far as when will they reach the coast, that may be, because of how slow these are moving, it may be another hour or two after that when they finally do start reaching the coastal counties. So we're really looking at a long-term and overnight flash flooding threat. These very, very slow-moving storms slowly trying to make their way all the way into South Mississippi. You can see there lots of the flash flood warnings have remained over in Louisiana and in the Delta. So we'll keep an eye on things as we head into the overnight hours. Coming up on the news at 10, I'm going to have a full breakdown of the forecast once again, very similar to what I just did here. And let's take a look at that 7-day forecast as well. As we head into the rest of the week, not only are we tracking this system, but by the middle of the week, we're also going to be looking at the potential for another small system to move on through. That's going to bring some higher rain chances, mainly for Wednesday and Thursday. And check out right behind that system, there is a chance of a very slight cool down. Come about Friday, we could be looking at those afternoon temperatures down in the lower 70s but we will rebound fairly quickly. Drier air does move in behind that system. That allows us to heat right back up on Saturday, back up into those upper 70s across the coastal areas. So just recapping one more time, we're watching for those showers and storms the next about 4 to 5 hours here in South Mississippi. Very, very slow moving. Some of them could produce some gusty winds, but the biggest concern is definitely going to be the very heavy rainfall from any of those very slow moving storms between now and about 4 or 5 a.m.